Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're tuning in from, everybody. It is Rod with Pow Group. We're going to get started here in just another minute or so. We'll give it 30 to 60 seconds for people to jump on. If you know anybody that can join us last minute, make sure to send the link out. And going to go over some more FUD and nonsense with regards to Tilray stock. I wasn't even planning on doing any videos today, but can't ignore this. So just sit tight and we'll get started here in about a half a minute or so. Welcome to live stream, everybody. I see we have a ton of people rolling in. Smash the like, I would appreciate it. Let us know where you're tuning in from as well. We're going to get started here in about 15 seconds. All right, let's get the show kicked off. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, everybody. It's Rod with Pow Group, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Also home to the best MJ community. Hope you're doing awesome and hope you're having a great weekend. It's Sunday, January 14th. As I mentioned, I wasn't even planning on doing any videos today, but I came across a couple of videos. And I have to call this out. When I see nonsense, when I see FUD, when I see something I don't agree with, I have to call it out. And it's not that I, don't like a person or anything like that, or I'm making them look bad. It's just a difference of opinion, and I would encourage that we all challenge each other's opinions. But this video kind of ticked me off a little bit, not gonna lie. I try not to, get emotional or anything like that. But some of the things that they said in this video is just very disingenuous. And you can tell, like, when you see that it's a mainstream media channel or article, you instantly know to take it with a grain of salt, right? So I want to jump into this video right away here. We're going to share a video. I'm going to go over my thoughts and opinions, and we'll go through it as a community here. But there's no shortage of this, especially when we start to see, a bottom being set and a momentum shift and a reversal to the upside. That's when the talking heads come out and they try to FUD you beyond belief, right? And for those that don't know what FUD means, it's fear, uncertainty, and doubt. But before we get to it, make sure to smash the like. I would appreciate it. I love each and every one of you who supported me along the way. And if you want to support me some more, you can, like I said, subscribe to the channel, like the video, tick the bell. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. As always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. And you should never buy anything based on anything that I say or write, or sell anything. Buy or sell. But like I said, the FUD continues. We have more FUD today and nonsense. There was an article, well, a YouTube video actually, or I guess it was probably on TV, and then they posted it to their YouTube channel potentially, but I found it on YouTube, and it's the Schwab network, and they basically are FUDding Tilray. And then Alan Broadstein, the longtime Tilray hater, continues to hate. And I just don't get it. Like, why bother even talking about companies that you don't like? Why not just talk about the companies that you do like, right? It seems like they're talking their book. They actually like the stock, probably deep down. They probably own it, and they think it's probably going to be one of the biggest stocks. But just like some of the people in the comments are saying, keep the FUD continuing because we want more cheap shares. So I think this is probably part of their plan as well. They want more cheap shares. And I just don't understand the point. You can tell when people are disingenuous, and this just smells funny right from the get-go. But make sure to follow us over on X as well, which is formerly Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. It's the best way for me to get real-time updates out to the community. You can follow us over there. Again, the handle is @GroupPow. I'll be using that as my platform of choice going forward. So the video that I posted earlier on today, about 6 hours ago, again, I didn't even plan to post any videos today. This was a popular YouTube channel, and YouTuber says that Tilray is absolute trash. And I don't know if this is, old. Maybe, he tried Tilray products a long time ago, before they acquired Afria, before they acquired Hexo, the best MJ company in the planet. And then, now they have Redican, which their new flower is phenomenal. And that channel is MJ legalization news, cannabis legalization news. And I like that channel, right? I really do think that they present great information. We got the cannabis lawyer, and, I forget his name, but they have the cannabis lawyer, and they do great content, right? They break down all of the legalese, things that are very hard for our average Joe and Jane to understand. I highly encourage you to subscribe to their channel. I love their channel. I'm subscribed to it as well. But the YouTuber that they had on there, I did not agree with his comments. And to say and blast a company and say it's absolute trash with no facts or no reasoning is just disingenuous as well. And I just think there's no place for it. So if you haven't seen that video, like I said, it's got over 600 views here already. People are really agreeing with me, and I don't agree. If you're going to bash a company, at least give hard facts. I don't really believe in bashing. If I don't like a company, I just don't talk about it. There's no reason for me to come on here and bash a company. There's just no reason for that. And again, in that video, I'm not attacking anybody. I'm just talking about my own thoughts and opinions. And I see we have a ton of people rolling in. So again, welcome to the live stream. We're going to get started here with this video. I'm going to play it for everybody, and then we'll go through my thoughts and opinions. But again, this is the Schwab Network. And the Schwab Network, if we just bring up the actual YouTube page here, apologies for not having that up before, but you can see your Schwab Network is brought to you by Charles Schwab Media Productions Company. So when you see Charles Schwab, CNBC, any of these these mainstream media networks, you need to instantly be skeptical, right? Remember what they said about all of the .com companies. Remember what they said about Tesla before Tesla exploded, right? Oh, Tesla makes less cars in a year than Toyota makes in a month. They'll never be worth anything. They're not profitable. Look at the short interest. The short interest is sky high. And then, Elon even came out with a product like the shorts, the actual shorts product, and it sold out like instantly, right? And he was basically saying F you to the shorts, right? And Tilray has very big short interest as well, but I think it's going to be a similar story where, everybody knows that Tilray is going to be one of the top companies globally in MJ. I would say at least top 5. Pretty much guarantee it's going to be top 5. I mean, there's only no guarantees in the finance world, but I'm close to as 100% as possible. It's going to be in the top 5 globally, maybe top 10, definitely top 10, probably the top 5. Very confident in both of those. I would say there's like an 80 to 90% chance it's in the top 3, and I would say there's a 50% chance, maybe 60% chance that Tilray owns the MJ market globally, like top MJ company globally. Think of it as the Budweiser or, the Coors Light of the MJ industry, right? And that was the thing I mentioned in this video as well is, not everybody wants 30, 40% THC MJ. Not everybody wants the cream of the crop, right? There's people who are coming in who haven't even consumed MJ before. That is Tilray Brands' target market, right? They have their craft component as well. But again, check out that video for my thoughts and opinions on that. But again, Budweiser and Coors Light don't make the best beer, but they make the most money, right? And then they acquired a bunch of brands after having all of this money, and they're not. And also, Tilray's into craft beer, and Tilray's selling a product, a commodity that is federally illegal on the same category as heroin in the United States. So you can't really compare Tilray to Budweiser, but you kind of can because they're getting into the alcoholic beverages as well, which will bode well and integrate nicely once federally permissible to add MJ to it and infuse it, right? There's a lot to look forward to. So I see we have some Nova Scotia. Nice. Just next to me. I'm actually from Prince Edward Island. So welcome from the East Coast. We'll jump into the chat here at the end as well. You're from Nova Scotia as well? We got tons of Nova Scotia repping in the house today. Okay, well, I see we have a ton of people commenting, so I'll jump into the chat here at the end. I have limited time. I only got about 30 minutes total, and I do want to go through this video, and it's about 7 minutes, 51 seconds. I did put it on 1.25x just to speed it up a little bit because I'm going to pause it throughout, and I'll go over my thoughts and opinions. But let's get things kicked off here.
Now it's time for the 360 round on pot stocks. So for that, let's bring in our panel. Morgan Paxia, he's co-founder and managing director of Poseidon Investment Management. And then Alan Brockstein, managing partner, New Cannabis Ventures, and principal at 420 Investor. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Morgan, I got to start with you because Tilray Brands, better than expected earnings this morning. What stood out for you in the report?
Well, what stood out to me is it's not really that exciting of a company. I mean, if you look at the share of revenue derived from cannabis, it's less than a majority at this point. It's more of a beer brand and a distributor, and less.
So, what did you notice about the opening remarks? It's not that exciting of a company. What? What are you talking about? Look at all the interest. Tilray videos get, some of the highest views. If you look at my channel, go to videos and then search by popular, it's Tilray at the top. Like, how could it not be an exciting company if it gets the most views, it has the most attention, most eyeballs on it? I would say it's the most exciting company in MJ, right? This just smells funny right off of the get-go, right? It just, right, the first couple of words out of his mouth were disingenuous and just didn't make any sense. So I question everything from here on out, right? And then I also commented, before I forget, I also commented on the video. Let's see if it's there again. What is it, 43 seconds here into the video? Let me refresh here, watch it do a freaking ad. Okay, no, I guess it's MJ related, so there probably is no ads, but let me pause that here. So I'll just go back. Sorry for kind of all over the place here. I did want to mention something before I forget. So yeah, I commented on here. They left a couple of my posts that didn't call them out. So again, disingenuous, and they don't like being called out. So what I did was I commented a few times saying, this person says, I'm a believer. This person says, don't listen to these goobers. And I commented on that. I replied to Ryan here. Ryan, if you're on the stream, I replied to you. I don't know if you've seen it. And then I also replied to a random, and then I replied to a couple other people. And what they did was they removed my post, like pretty much instantly. And this tells you that they're trying to carry a narrative, right? They're trying to play their book. And what I commented was, consider the source. Charles Schwab is not news for the, it's news for the masses, not for the classes, right? They're mainstream media. They're talking their book. They're trying to sway you a certain way. They're trying to create FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, so that you sell your shares, that you don't believe in the company. And it always happens near a long-term bottom as we're entering a new bull market usually, right? And then at the top, they're like, oh, Tilray is going to $300 a share again. And who knows, maybe it won't stop there. It'll go to $1,000. And then they try to get you to hold on forever. Like, these people are just so evil. And like, when I see Schwab, when I see CNBC, when I see Mad Money, you know, Tim Cramer, just look the other way and use this as a contrarian indicator, right? This is just, it smells bad from the get-go. And the fact that they went on there and didn't even respond, they left on my, I said in this comment, yep, in my opinion, they listen to investors put their money where their mouth is. Germany coming online soon, Tilray will be a powerhouse. So they left the comments that I made on there that were, you know, not really calling them out. If I call them out, they don't like that, right? So when you call somebody out and you just hit them with facts, and you're not, you know, you're not being mean, or you're not being malicious or attacking them in any really, you know, like wrong way. It's just me saying, presenting facts and saying I don't agree, and then they deleted it. So the fact that they're, you know, basically, and they're policing this, like they deleted it right away. And all I said was consider the source. Like, I would not trust Schwab as far as I could throw them, right? So anyways, let me know in the comments if you agree with me, but that really ticked me off. That was something that really ticked me off. But you know, you should never ever not like have thoughtful discourse. And just because we don't agree doesn't mean the comment can't stay there and we can't talk it through, right? Maybe I can persuade you, you can persuade me. It's just childish is what it is. But anyways, I digress. Let's continue on here.
Crop to fruits and vegetables. I mean, are they foreseeing trouble in the cannabis sector, or are they just getting out while they can?
So the Canadian LPs like Tilray have no way to participate in U.S. cannabis, and that's the large addressable market. That's where growth is. Canada has been for years with way too much capacity.
Okay, so, oh man, I might stop this a lot, but what are you talking about? They don't have any. Yes, they don't have any MJ business in the US, but what they failed to mention is that they're already doing millions and millions of dollars in beverage sales, which are easily integrated into their MJ business. They could potentially acquire a medical company in the US, which they talked about. They have convertible debt in MedMen. Like, all of this stuff they leave out. They only focus on the negative. So again, it smells bad from the get-go. And I hope everybody can kind of discern this for themselves and be aware of this, and really just be careful of who you take your news from.
With way too much capacity and significant price declines. So they're just really held away from the more attractive opportunity. And as a result, you've seen, you know, such a degradation. I remember that 2018, I think they were a higher market cap than Air Canada at one point.
Wow.
Higher market cap than Air Canada. Did you guys catch that? Oh, but hang on. There's nothing exciting here. Nothing to see here, folks. It only, exceeded Air Canada's market cap, but not an exciting company. No, not at all.
Pretty wild. And but yeah, so you know, the challenge has been the international story too. Europe, and you know, it's been slow to come online. US, we've been lacking federal reform, which is really needed. But even if we get some reform this year that we're thinking we'll get, Tilray still won't be a participant in US cannabis, because even if we go to Schedule 3, for example, which is something that's being discussed, that's being suggested from the HHS, it'll still be federally illegal. So that will likely keep the Tilrays of the world from being able to participate in U.S. cannabis.
Makes perfect sense. Alan, over to you, because Tilray pointed to the Hexo acquisition as a positive. Are you expecting any more M&A activity in this space? It seems like it's ripe for...
Yes. So Tilray said the Hexo acquisition was a positive. Absolutely. They acquired the best MJ company on the planet. Hexo and Redecan are by far the best. They were 100% MJ play. And the reason why I think Tilray went after Hexo is because they had a strategic alliance with them. They already had a partnership. They were already, integrating both of their companies, and they were able to scoop them up pennies on the dollar. They tried for many years. Hexo tried to fight them off, but the bear market was brutal. And Tilray knew that they were probably the best MJ company on the planet, and they were a great partner. They already had an alliance, and Tilray's market share was dwindling because they were focusing more on the distribution business, their hemp business, and which is smart in my opinion. And then also, CC Pharma, and then also their beverage brands in the US, right, through alcohol and spirits. And then they acquired Hexo because their MJ revenue was dwindling a little bit, and they acquired Hexo, and which was a pure 100% MJ play, and that really is starting to kind of ignite their MJ segment again. And the Redecan flower is amazing. The Animal Runs, the King Sherb, the new craft, hand trimmed, really good price points. It's just the start of the inning here. It's just first inning and start of the game here. And like I said, this is tip of the iceberg, and it's just hilarious to say that, they're getting out of MJ. Like, what are you talking about? And then they talk about oversupply issues. Well, they fail to mention Germany coming online soon, which Tilray's probably going to own that market. So that oversupply, okay, they're getting into vegetables and things like that, but that's just a stopgap to take all that square footage that they don't need. What should they do? What's the alternative? Don't grow anything, don't make any money, or sell the facility for pennies for the dollar, like lose a ton of money on it? Why would they do that? Why not get into fruits and vegetables? Why not stopgap until Germany comes on? Like, do these people know anything? Like, what are their IQ? They can't be that dumb. They're not that dumb. They're smart. They're actually very smart, and they're trying to make you believe something that isn't true, and you can smell the BS from a mile away. These people should just be ashamed of themselves.
More M&A, more consolidation at some point, just because of the disconnect with legislation or with other kind of regulation.
Well, first, let me say hello to you. This is my first time to meet you, and
great.
It's good to see you again, Morgan. I have a great deal of respect for Morgan and his sister and their whole team. So they've done at Tilray a lot of M&A, and they've always made big promises to investors about how good it would work out, and they have failed again. And I have been negative on Tilray on this show.
Failed, but they're number one in market cap in Canada, probably going to own Germany, and whenever the US comes online, probably going to be the biggest company globally, but they failed, everyone. Did you hear that? Like, this is just hilarious.
And elsewhere for a while. Mm-hmm. And the last time that we spoke, it was the Q1, and we are down slightly, while the cannabis market is up slightly since then. So what I've been saying and what I continue to say is that their balance sheet is a constraint. And this morning, another company in Canada with a worse balance sheet, and that would be Canopy Growth, mm-hmm. sold stock not at $4.20, which would have been kind of cute, but at
And let that be something that you're aware of as well, right? Tilray could potentially dilute and raise money again through issuing shares because they're not yet profitable. But when Germany comes online, I think the days are numbered, right? It's probably going to be a few quarters from now, and Tilray could be profitable, right? And again, this could be I'm not trying to create FUD either. I'm just being realistic, right? But, Canopy's a different beast altogether. But, Tilray, anyways, we'll get through this here or the video will be forever.
429, not quite an all-time low, but way below the current price. And I think that Tilray's, I was surprised they were able to do that beer deal. I don't expect them to do any more M&A in cannabis. No.
Okay, you're right. That would have been kind of cute if they traded at 420. Morgan, back over to you. Tilray, it's a Canadian cannabis company, of course. We talked about that. And what kinds of U.S. cannabis companies are you watching, or in general, U.S. companies?
Yeah, well, good to see you too, Alan. It's been a while, so good to be on the show with you all today. So U.S. names, look, the last couple of years have been very tough for our sector in general due to capital constraints. We've been in a pretty much...
Did you guys catch that? Did you guys catch that? Did I not play that last part? Oh, I think I screwed something up there. And they had to show the bearish chart for Tilray too. I think I screwed that up. Sorry, folks. Let me go through here.
Not quite an all-time low, but way below the current price. And I think that Tilray's, I was surprised they were able to do that beer deal. I don't expect them to do any more M&A in cannabis. No.
Okay, you're right. That would have been kind of cute if they traded at 420. Morgan, back over to you. Tilray, it's a Canadian cannabis company, of course. We talked about that. But what kinds of U.S. cannabis companies are you watching, or in general, U.S. companies?
Yeah, well, good to see you too, Alan. It's been a while, so good to be on the show with you all today. So U.S. names, look, the last couple of years have been very tough for our sector in general.
Okay, so anybody catch that? He gets asked about the U.S. stocks, and he starts defending them instantly. And says, oh, the last couple of years have been really hard on our industry capital-wise, but then they make fun of CGC for raising money below the current share price, way below. Why didn't they say, oh, the last couple of years have been really difficult on the industry, right? You can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to paint the narrative, and I'm not saying U.S. companies aren't going to do well. I'm just saying, if we get rescheduling headline, where do you think people in Germany and in Europe are going to go buy MJ stocks? They're not going to be buying the names on the CSE or the Toronto Stock Exchange or the OTC because they can't. They're going to be buying CGC, they're going to be buying Tilray, they're going to be buying Sundial, they're going to SNDL, right? Like this, yes, MJ and US MJ, I own US MJ as well. Curaleaf's my second biggest holding, but like you need to be genuine, and there's just nothing genuine about this. It's just it's news for the masses, not the classes.
At this point, so it's been a very long time, and as a result, a lot of these companies have become quite over leveraged. So as Alan was mentioning, balance sheets are a big focus for us, especially for public companies. And so you really have to focus on those that have managed through this period better, higher quality names, or names that may have some leverage, but it's sustainable and they have better growth prospects. So high quality names to us, are like the Green Thumb Industries of the world. Yeah. Growthier names are like the TerraSens and Ascend Wellness that are doing a good job allocating capital.
Okay, so TerraSend, actually Canopy Growth has a 17% share in TerraSend, but they hate Canopy. It's very odd that they just continue to hate on the LPs and think that the only opportunity in MJ is US MJ, right? Like obviously there's going to be winners both sides of the border and across the globe.
Capital in growth states that are coming online and have good pricing metrics, have good regulatory programs that are doing well. So it's really got to peel back the onion and take a look, because this sector is, we expect a lot more dispersion like we saw last year with how companies are performing, how their stocks are performing, and we think that will continue this year.
Makes sense. One question I have for you, Alan, do you think this may be the year that more cannabis legislation could actually be passed, right, in an election year? Does that maybe encourage a little bit more action?
Well, I've been following the space very closely for more than a decade. And what I've learned about my own observations, in the past, I would say, well, in answer to a question like that, I think within 5 years, we're going to see legalization. But I've been saying for a while now, I don't see legalization happening soon in the U.S. And the U.S. is actually more complicated than Canada, where it is federally legal for both medical and adult. Morgan and I sound...
So again, they talk about how the U.S. is more complicated than Canada, but yet they don't give any of these LPs the benefit of the doubt. They're like, oh, like look what they're doing in a market that is, that's legal, but it's, it's not nearly the same as the U.S., right? If people go to, imagine if Tilray was in the U.S., like it'd just be, the numbers would be through the roof, right? And that is the potential, right? The potential is that Canadian LPs will soon be able to go to the U.S. I know people don't believe that's ever going to happen, but come on, let's join the adults in the room here. Of course it's going to happen, right? Eventually, it's just a question of when, not if. And then around the globe, like Germany and the rest of the EU and UK, everything, right? The MSOs could come to Canada, but that's not the biggest growth opportunity. The growth opportunity is when LPs can go to the U.S., Latin America, and around the globe, right? So, if, in my opinion, the LPs have a lot more room long-term to grow than the US MSOs, right?
Adult use. And I know Morgan and I sound kind of negative, and I would throw out there...
They sound kind of negative.
For people that want to invest in the space, we don't need legalization, and there are some very good opportunities. I can't promise that they'll work, but if you're looking for a real Canadian LP, I think there are two that I have in my model portfolio, 3 overall, that I think are very...
Oh, isn't that surprising? The ones that he has in his portfolio, he likes and he will shill. He will talk good about the companies that he owns. Oh, don't you worry about that. And I know one of them is Organogram, which is 100% pure MJ play. But I own Organogram too. I'm bullish on Organogram. Just because I own one stock means I don't hate that I hate the ones that I don't own, right? I don't own TrueLeaf, but I'm not like telling people not to own it or that the products are trash. Like, it's just laughable.
Attractively valued relative to Tilray. And I would suggest that anybody that wants to invest in cannabis, look at the ancillary companies, not the US traded companies.
Oh, okay. Well, I hate to stop this conversation because it's so interesting, but we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you both for joining us today.
Oh, did you hear that? They also hate to stop the conversation. And then for those of you that try to comment in the comment section below and continue the conversation going, nope, don't worry about it. They're just going to delete your comment because you didn't have anything that fit their narrative, right? So no, they don't want to keep the conversation going. They just want to have people on there that paint a narrative and carry this nonsense and this FUD. And I'm fed up with it. I've seen tons of influencers do this, and there's just no place for it. Stop bashing companies. And just, if you want to talk about the companies you like, talk about the good companies that you like. There's tons of good companies. There's tons of things to like. Why even bother talking about the negative? It just makes my blood boil sometimes. And this is why we can't have nice things. But let me know in the chat what you think about this. What was your main takeaway from everything? And we'll jump into the chat here. I only got about 5 minutes left or so. All right, let's take a look at the chat here. What's this? Everybody talking about Tilray? Yeah. Well, it's not because it's not exciting. Let me tell you, there's no reason why people are talking about it. It's definitely not because Tilray's exciting. It's because Tilray's super, very, very, very boring, and then everybody's talking about it. Yeah, that's got to be it. Everybody's shitting on Tilray might be a good sign, though. Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree, Boris. CGC, they mentioned CGC a couple times in that video. I'll have to do another video where CGC, I only got about 5 minutes left. We'll try to keep this one on track here with Tilray and the FUD content. Keep up the FUD. I want Tilray cheap. Yeah, exactly. That's probably what these people were saying on the interview. And guaranteed they own Tilray in their portfolio. Let's go. Thanks, Joseph. All right. Nova Scotia, as I mentioned, welcome from Nova Scotia, Joseph. And yeah, East Coast rep. Thanks, brother. You bet, Richard. The Frankenstein looking Tilray hater laugh. LMAO. Yep. I'm not gonna say anything bad or anything like that, but yeah, you can develop your own opinion on who he resembles. Absolutely. I figured that was coming. Exactly. I'm from Nova Scotia. It sucks. Not as bad as PEI in the wintertime. I'm from PEI. And yeah, I used to go to Halifax just to get away sometimes. But I live in Edmonton now, Alberta, and I love it here. But not knocking on the East Coast. Cabot Trail is absolutely beautiful. Schwab is the most German name ever. I'm not going to argue with you there, Simon. Hope the FUD translates into lower share price, get some cheaper shares than the CEO. Yeah, I just did a video on that if you haven't seen that. Insiders buying. So President and CEO Irwin Simon added like 37,000 shares. I think it was 100 grand. Carl Merton added some shares as well, and then their legal counsel, I forget his name. The problem with Tilray is simply its cost per gram. Yeah, that'll continue to go down. It's already going down drastically, and it'll continue to go down with scale and with all these synergies as well with the Hexo acquisition as well. And it's going to take time, and then once the excise tax improves here in Canada, and that should improve in my opinion. I think Organogram's revenue, they said like a third of the revenue for the quarter went to, or for the, was it quarter or year, went to like excise tax. Or no, it was a third. I think it was a third of the revenue. So obviously that's not sustainable and it's going to go away. And then all these CCA CCAA filings and bankruptcy filings here in Canada is just going to motivate the federal government to catch up with the industry and help the industry, support the industry, and improve excise taxes. And Tilray can't even do any marketing. They can't even do any advertising in Canada. And they've got 12 really great brands. So they can't even do any marketing in Canada or advertising. So imagine whenever that starts to come, right? We're so early, it's not even funny. But none of these people want to tell you that because they have a narrative that they want to carry and they're talking their book. What's your CGC price prediction for this year? Hard to say. It really depends on the catalyst that we get. I wouldn't be surprised if we were back up around between post-split, I guess. We'll say somewhere between $7 to $10 if we get rescheduling. Maybe higher, but try to keep it on Tilray topic here. Thanks, Paisley. Hello from Germany. Hello, Simon. Welcome from Germany. Hello from Alberta, Canada. He's not that exciting. Him or his buddy. Yeah, I agree. Hey, my comment got deleted too. Yeah, so Simon, they don't want us to they don't want to continue the conversation. They just want to paint a narrative, and if we challenge their opinions, they just delete our comments because, were you being ignorant? Were you being, any kind of malicious intent? Malintent? Probably not. You're probably just like me, correcting their BS. I don't agree with it. So I'll, like an adult, I'll put a comment below, and I'll just give my thoughts and opinions, and I'll do it, maturely. I'll do it in a civilized manner. And hey, they just go and delete it. WTF? Yep. Goobers, exactly. Don't listen to them. Yep. That guy looks like Frankenstein. We got a few people in the house that thinks he looks like Frankenstein. Hi from Toronto. Welcome from Toronto. Love Toronto as well. Got a ton of family in Ontario area. But to be fair, AC does suck. I like it a lot better than WestJet. I was on WestJet not too long ago, and their TVs and everything sucked. I actually like the TV system on Air Canada. It's getting a lot better if you haven't flown to Air Canada in a long time. Even their food's a lot better, I found. Forecast for Monday, Tilray stock. It's going to be interesting, right? Because the Canadian market's open, but the U.S. market's closed, which means the U.S. MJ names will continue to trade, and we got that unredacted documents for rescheduling from HHS, and MSOS ETF won't trade until Tuesday. So all these Canadian US MJ names are going to be probably running. I would say it's going to be a pretty up day. I think there's going to be a lot of gains, and then the Canadian MJ names will trade like the Tilrays and the all the Canadian names on the Toronto Stock Exchange. And then you got like Curaleaf and on the Toronto Stock Exchange now, TerraSend. So it's going to be interesting to see, which I own all of them, and I'm not selling them anytime soon, but price forecast for Tilray stock on Monday. Hard to say. I think we should get back up around that 225 area pretty quickly. 225, 250 area pretty quickly. A lot's going to be riding on the S&P 500 as well, so we'll see if we get some headwinds or tailwinds from the broader market. I wonder what they think is a good U.S. weed stock. Yeah, great question. I really like Curaleaf. It's my second biggest holding. Not financial advice, of course. Do your own research. This is for entertainment and informational purposes only. Never buy anything because I buy or sell anything based on anything that I say or anything that I write. But I really like Curaleaf. I added AYR last week. Who else do I like in the U.S.? Cresco, I added them. I like MSOS ETF because it gives you a lot of indirect exposure to a wide basket of them. I think GTI Green Thumb's going to be a good one as well, but it's more of a safer bet. I don't think it's going to offer that much reward. I think it's more of a safer play, right? You might get like 100%, 200% gains, 300% over the next year or two, but some names could offer like 10x or like 10,000%, right? Potentially. So we'll see. Or sorry, 1,000%. And well, some of them could potentially do 10,000%. If CGC goes back to all-time highs or something like that. Over the next 5 to 10 years, that could be one hell of an investment, right? But again, not financial advice. But my favorite MSO is Curaleaf, and they should stand to benefit very much from the German market as well. They sound so petty. Yep. The stock market is closed on Monday, holiday. Yeah, exactly. And then it's going to be an interesting day tomorrow. I'll be covering it as well. Yeah, it's messed up. Hopefully, people in general can see through it and all of their agendas. Yeah, exactly. I think people are starting to wake up. We have this thing called the internet now, and it's very easy for people to sniff out the BS when we see it. Frankie McDonald's from Nova Scotia is from Nova Scotia. He was in a car accident. Apparently he almost lost his life. Who is that? Alan? Oh yeah, he was in a car accident. Yeah, well, again, I don't wish it bad on anybody, and I'm glad it looks like he's recovering, so that's great to see. I don't wish bad on anybody, but I really dislike when people are disingenuous, and I've said on this channel that I will call anybody out. I don't care who they are or what their circumstances are. I'll always call people out if I don't agree with it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If I don't agree with something, if someone doesn't agree with me, call me out too in the comments. Let me know what you don't agree with. I'm not gonna shun. I'm not gonna, as long as you're respectful and not ignorant and mean, I'll keep your comment there even if I don't agree with you. I'm not trying to paint a narrative. I'm trying to get to the truth, and I'm trying, people can persuade me, I can persuade you. But no, that's not how Schwab wants to do it. Schwab just wants to delete all of the comments that they don't agree with, even if it's a difference of opinion and you're respectful and everything, right? But yeah, I'm glad to see he's doing better. What's your opinion of Tilray this week? Uptick? Yeah, I think so. I think we're very close to a bottom. I think anything under $2 is like a hard buy. Major opportunity there. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we were back up to 225, 250 USD here in not too distant future. What's going on with MedMen? They're just continuing to get destroyed. There's no real positive outlook. I would expect the major tier 1 and tier 2 names in the US to move first, and then we see potentially MedMen, but we know Tilray has their convertible debt as well, so that could be potential play for their real retail play or a U.S. acquisition once federally permissible to do so. So we'll keep an eye out on that. But I would love to have Tilray on for an interview and ask them all these questions. But they won't come on with me. You know why? Because they know I'm not going to play t-ball and just on their questions so that they can hit it out of the park. And, I'm going to ask them the tough questions. And that's why they probably don't want me to interview them, because they know that I'm going to ask them the tough questions. And they're not going to get on CNBC, Fox News, BNN, or they're just going to play softball and tee up all these easy questions for them. And pretty much all of their interviews, they say the same thing, right? It's like, okay, bring up the MedMen, bring up, all these other things that we want to talk about, right? Germany and what they plan to do with some of their assets and what their strategic, a lot of the stuff they probably can't really touch on. But yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of questions that I could think of. Just can't really think of anything else at the top of my head here at the moment. But yeah, MedMen. Love your podcast. I just officially followed you. Thank you very much, Marky. I appreciate it. Really appreciate the support. It goes both ways. The problem for every MJ stock is the moat. It's all about the cheapest price, and this is a concern to me. Yeah, so the competitive advantage is something that is really a big problem. I agree. But that's why we're starting to see a lot of mergers and acquisitions. We're starting to see a lot of consolidation. We're seeing a lot of retailers go bankrupt, like Fire and Flower, right? Mom and pop shops going out of business. And it's going to continue, right? There's over 800 LPs, I think Irwin Simon said, still in Canada. That's way too many. And then there's way too many in the US. But if you look at all the LPs now in Canada, they're very differentiated. Sundial, SNDL has like retail operations in alcohol and MJ. Then they've got, they have some vertically integrated as well, so they're actually producing MJ as well. So it's a very different business. And then you got Tilray into beverage and alcohol, but they're not into like retail. They're just making the products, and then they have their distribution business. They have their hemp business. They have their MJ business as well. And then you got your Canopies, which is more of like a U.S. company. It's more of like a branding company. They get a lot of stores in Bickle, so they have this like kind of ancillary aspect as well. And then you got like Organigram, which was like 100% MJ play, right? So you got like all the major companies now in Canada. You can kind of start to see the differentiation and how they're each kind of focusing on one specific thing. And I think they're all going to work together, and then a rising tide lifts all boats, right? So I think we're starting to see that, they're starting to focus on certain things, and they're starting to get their moat in order. And eventually, there's just no way they're going to catch up, right? There's like some of these smaller growers, they might find the niche markets and stuff like that, but you can't compete. It's like trying to squash Budweiser, right? As a craft beer brewer. 750 million plus shares outstanding now, less than 200 million in cash, continuous losses, wrong acquisitions, reverse stock split looks imminent. I don't agree. I would say it's like less than a 5% chance that we see a reverse stock split. They'd have to get a warning, and then they'd have 180 days. They could get an extension from there as well. I said when CGC stock split was in the cards and on the table, I said that it was probably going to happen. And then after the shareholders approved it, I was like, oh, it's definitely going to happen now. And then it did. But I think the chance of Tilray seeing a reverse split is like less than 5%. But to each their own opinion. Again, I'm not going to delete your comment here because I don't agree with you. I just, you'd have to give me a more compelling argument. And right now we're almost about to change the monthly trend for the first time in 3 years. So I don't subscribe to that. Unfortunately, I wish, I really hope they don't do a reverse split, but it's not really what I want. It's more what I think is going to happen. I could care less. If it reverse splits, I'll buy more. But I really don't think, personally, honestly, and truthfully, I don't think they're going to do a reverse split. Do you think $8 is realistic for Tilray this year? Absolutely. I think that is realistic. Nova Scotia sucks because we need to buy our MJ from the liquor stores. That's not allowed. Single canopy stores in Nova Scotia. Yeah, exactly. There's in canopy, it's all over the place. In Alberta here, it's privatized. And if I'm talking really fast, because I have to go soon. So, but yeah, I agree. It's kind of annoying. Thank you for being amazing, Rod. Thank you. This too shall pass. I appreciate it. I told the Schwab group that I think a lot of nonsense is reported because the mood totally depends on whether the rate is currently rising or falling. In Europe, the rate briefly went up by 5%. Yeah, you bet, Simon. And we're not talking Irwin. Simon Rath. Not that exciting of a company. Never been more bullish on Tilray than I am right at this moment, loading up the boat on Tuesday. Yeah, exactly. Like how like these are the cues that you need to look at and look for whenever something like that happens. Whenever you see these interviews starting, and when they start off the interview by saying, "Oh, Tilray's not that exciting of a company," basically disregard everything that they say from that point on. You know what I mean? Like, you instantly lost credibility. If you lead with that, I'm sorry, your IQ, to me, I would think is probably 5 or less. Like, not to be mean, but like, that's just my own actual opinion. Because like, what happened to like people being honest and genuine? Like, I don't understand how some of these people sleep at night, honestly. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting day on Monday. On Monday, you can buy Tilray on the Canadian exchange. I assume you're not from Canada, so you can't do that. But thanks for all the great content. You bet, Leopold. Thank you so much for everybody on the live stream who contributed. I love each and every one of you going in it there. I do have to run, but let's continue to call out anybody who just doesn't present all the facts and spits FUD and nonsense for absolutely no reason. All right. Thanks again for joining us in the Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rob with Power Group. Thanks again, and we'll see you again on the next video. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.